let us all do we can to build a better future. This is going to be an episode calling it Buying It Up.
Yeah, it's like, as much as we don't like to, we're going to have to start talking about Biden more. And without really realizing, when I got in here, I looked at our set list for the day. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Biden, then Biden's story.
Oh, yeah, it's our new president.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And until, you know, Kamala.
Hey, I brought in a Trump story for some.
Yes, Carrie, you did an amazing.
Yes, you did.
Hey, I brought in a COVID story too. Kit, what did you bring? Oh, right, all Biden stories.
Well, hey, Jack, you know the thing. But speaking of which, now Biden faces a tall order in uniting a polarized nation. So,
oh, actually, really quickly before we start, E. Heller, this is probably for mainly you, Faze, that there is a graphic that E. Heller sent to us for Bidening it up that we can incorporate at some point.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
We will do the best we can to get that to fruition. So let's get started with our first segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're about to Biden it up because Joe Biden faces a tall order in uniting a polarized nation. Joe Biden, who will take the oath today as the 46th president of the United States, is vowing to succeed where his recent predecessors failed, uniting this fractured country. All right, good luck, buddy. Biden enters, and look, to be very clear, look, I don't want, a long time ago, Rush Limbaugh said he wanted to see Barack Obama fail, okay? And I think that's a horrible thing to state and make you know, you shouldn't want that because the president of the United States is the captain of the ship, and if the ship sinks, we're all going down.
You should. The correct way of doing this is you shouldn't be saying, "Ha ha ha, he's going to hit the iceberg." It should be, "Oh no, that guy's going to hit the iceberg." That's the correct way to do it.
Right, and to be very clear,
even like if there's cynicism, like saying, like, I really hope I'm not right. You know, like I feel cynical because I've been, you know, beaten over the head with like all these empty, beautiful, flowery promises my whole life and have been let down, you know, and so it's just what I expect over and over and over again. It's same with this, like, you know, bipartisanship, you know, uniting rhetoric. It's never happened in my lifetime. Why should I expect it to succeed? And at the same time, it's not like I'm in a place where I'm hoping he fails at those kinds of goals. I hope he succeeds. And I'll get into my analysis in a moment, but go ahead.
Right, and the thing is, like, I don't want to see a president fail, from Obama to Trump to now Biden. I hope Biden somehow, maybe out of the blue, this is maybe optimism, does do for continuous stimulus checks. Maybe has a change of heart for Medicare for all. But you know, guess what? I know he's part of the establishment. That's not going to happen, but I don't want to see anyone fail. And now he's in a precarious spot where he has to try and fix a lot of mistakes. And I don't think he's going to do it, but I don't want to see him fail in doing it either. The nation is suffering through the worsening coronavirus epidemic. On Tuesday, we passed a grim milestone of 400,000 deaths. The polarized political climate has been further damaged by conspiracy theories on social and traditional media, something that culminated in the ugly mob violence at the U.S. Capitol that interrupted the certification of Biden's electoral victory. An impeachment trial for President Trump threatens to interrupt Biden's agenda, preventing him from moving forward with a cleaner slate. Every president makes a commitment to bipartisanship, but few actually succeed in bringing the party together. Biden, who served in the Senate for more than 3 decades before becoming vice president, thinks he can defy history. After his party wins in Georgia's Senate runoffs, Biden will at least have a Democratic House and Senate to help him, but his majorities are razor thin. Whoa.
He's even trying to jump into us right now.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Come on, Jack.
Come on, Jack. You know a thing. Come on, Biden. You can't do that.
Come on, man.
Again, so even with congressional majorities, Trump and former presidents Clinton and George W. Bush ran into trouble. Clinton's stimulus plan in 1993 never got the real traction, and it was torpedoed by Republicans and centrist Democrats in the Senate. Bush's tax plan got off on a rocky start in his first 100 days, and Trump couldn't unify his party to repeal and replace Obamacare. Former President Barack Obama, who had a huge House majority and a near 60-seat Senate majority at the beginning of his term, had more successes out of the gate. In his first weeks in office, Obama signed into law a large stimulus package, a pay equity measure, and legislation that expanded children's health care insurance. But let us not forget that Barack Obama and his administration also slapped, you know, the bankers' hands, and that's it. You know, the people who led us to the 2008 recession.
They slapped gold bars into their hands.
Oh, correction, like this. That.
It's like, here's some money.
Here's some money. And let's not also forget, too, that 8 million people also lost their homes during Obama's tenure. And at the end of January 31st of 2021, 30 to 40 million Americans are at risk of being evicted from their homes. Again, the article goes into detail about what Biden's agenda will be. And I know Daniel's going to be covering that in his story. But let's actually talk about what it means for bipartisanship and whether or not Biden will have the power necessary to actually get things done. And let's look at the issues at hand. I know everyone's focusing on the fact that Trump, the orange boogeyman, is gone. And you can check out the full article in our show notes and description box below. But look, there's still talk about impeachment and holding Trump accountable. But that's really not the main issue at heart. I think the real issue at heart is continuous stimulus checks, making sure people are not evicted from their homes, because, again, we're seeing people getting evicted. We covered that on yesterday's show. Yep. And you know what? Whether Biden likes it or not, and whether activist groups or the leadership of National Nurses United or DSA like it or not, we got to talk about forced to vote and Medicare for all. Whether Biden and the Democrats like it or not, we got to talk about Medicare for all, because we are already past now, what, 400,000? Do we even humor the number of 500,000? Do we even go further to 1 million people who've died?
20 million. Why not 100 million?
And again, I know you're joking around with that, but really, I mean, come on, let's really be serious here. We got to talk about affordable health care. No, let's not even talk about affordable health. We got to talk about single payer health care so that people are not in medical debt. And that's an issue that we have in this country, medical debt. So, I mean, if these politicians can have affordable health care, if these politicians can have at least good quality health care that they voted for themselves to have, we need to have it, and we need to start really holding these people's feet to the fire. So all these large networks, all these blue checkmark people, all these activist organizations, you got to hold his feet to the fire now. I want to see you fight. I've been seeing a lot of other people who have larger platforms saying, well, now we got to fight the Democrats. Well, let's see you do it. Because if you can't do anything in 2021, 2022 will be a political massacre for the Democrats. And I'm fully invested with Move for People's Party because I haven't seen anything that the Democrats have done to inspire me. If they're only going to be focusing on Trump and impeachment, well, guess what? Trump's out of office. The boogeyman's gone. You got to start delivering. And one of the things is a $2,000 stimulus check, not a measly $1,400. $2,000 stimulus check.
$1,400 is $2,000.
That's not mathematics, and you're wrong. All right, I want to open up this platform. Kira, I want to start with you, and then Daniel, you have the final word.
Okay.
Yeah, I decided today, as I was listening to the inauguration festivities and all of that I would go into this with an open mind. That I would probably still hold my cynicism. However, really celebrate the things that go well, because there are a lot of things that Biden is claiming that move in a pretty progressive, I guess, direction. And so I really would love to be surprised. I'm not going to hold my breath, and we'll see what happens with all of that. I don't, fighting the Democratic Party from inside the Democratic Party, I have basically lost all hope for. So I'm with you, Kit. I do think that we need more parties, at least a third, but I think I say this every single show, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth would be great.
Agreed.
I think the direction we need to go in for that is ranked choice voting. So there are a lot of systemic things that really do need to change in order for there to actually be opposition to the Republican and Democratic Party, because right now they're not actually opposition. They just play it on television. And so until all that happens, I'm going to continue to be a cynic. And I've given myself the space to I'll celebrate any of the wins too. And I think one of the things that give me that little sliver of hope, I guess, is our governor here in Illinois, Pritzker, kind of surprising me again and again and again since he became elected. I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is possible, And so inside of that, I'm just okay, well, I've kind of seen it now. Maybe this could happen again. But I still hold firmly in that. You don't fight the party within the party. And I think that force the vote for me, really, really kind of nailed that. It was nailed in well before that for me. It was just another reminder of that for me. So, yep.
Yeah, so I agree with that completely. Force the vote for me is very similar. Because it was like, this is a low chance of success anyway, but the target was originally supposed to be, hey, let's just get Democrats on the record, and it became, no, the progressives and the squad is using themselves as a body shield. And it's like, that's not probably how I would have liked them to do it. But so, yeah, we're talking about Biden. We're talking about Biden. Biden's president now, for now. We'll see how long he lasts. In a couple ways you can frame that. This is a guy who, this is the thing that I really get annoyed by when people talk about Trump on other platforms and other media. By the way, Kit let me know right before the show started, I think I should let everyone know this, that TYT and Cenk are finally like, okay, now that they've cemented their power and we can't ask anything from them and there's no leverage, let's start criticizing the Democrats. Yes, that's a great strategy.
I've shared that on our Discord and
Congratulations, TYT. A little too late, but I'm just going to continue.
Really? Because from what I've heard, there hasn't really been much criticism.
Oh, as everyone can hear my beautifully dry, witty humor at play.
Yeah, in my listening of it, I haven't heard much.
Okay, so hold on. I don't know if they posted any video content on that, but on Twitter, Cenk has been saying it.
It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm making fun of them for having a failed strategy and then implementing a failed strategy on top of not actually implementing a strategy, because it was based on when you were sitting with other news. Anyway, I'm getting off track and I'm putting too much TYT up here. Joe Biden is going to disappoint a lot of people. There's a huge amount of Democrats who I've been talking to who are still like, oh yeah, Biden, he's saved the day. So right back to Trump. Everyone has gotten to this weird, cultish point of view on Trump, where either he's the savior of the human race, or he's the Antichrist, or technically he's the Antichrist but bad. Because we know there's a lot of those evangelicals that are like, yes, but it's good. I'm talking about the Democrats think he's very, very bad, very, very bad. That America was a perfect multicultural civilization with everything going perfectly and well, and everyone had perfume sprinkled on them as they woke up, and then Trump came in and destroyed all of that. And there's no other reality or way to interpret this. And now that Trump is gone, we can go back to that miraculous world of plenty and everything, the economy being great, even except for not including the people who it isn't. Those people don't matter. They're Trump supporters, or they're right wing, or anyone I disagree with is a Trump supporter. It's going to be real hard for them. I don't know how Democrats are going to deal with it, because stuff's still going to suck. And they're not going to have Trump to blame. And so they're going to not want to blame Biden, because the whole reason that they liked Biden is that he promised to fix things or bring things back to normal, except Trump has made a normal. So he's maintaining that normal, which is not that useful to go back to something that you're already at. So, yeah, a lot of these people that voted for Biden that I've been talking to, their entire thing is literally on a hope and a prayer. Hey, why do you think Biden's going to make it? Oh, he's going to give us, he's going to make sure the vaccine comes out on time. I mean, Trump actually, ironically, to Trump's credit, that actually was faster than anyone else's. Trump getting the vaccine out, which is just like, okay, that's interesting, because everyone was making, remember all the Democrats were like, oh, you'll never get it out by 2021. That's absurd, Trump. And it's out now. It's like, oh, Biden did this. So Biden, so their thing is, again, that yeah, exactly. And so their thing is that Biden is going to now get the vaccine out to everyone, which it's like, it's already started. Okay, buddy. Biden's going to fix the economy. He's going to help all the small businesses. He's going to keep people from getting evicted. He's going to help the schooling system do what they need to do. I think there's going to be a chicken in everyone's pot. I heard someone say that somewhere. And basically, everything's going to return to how it was pre-2016, and everything will be perfect. And it's like,
George Brown says the trains will run on time.
The trains will all run on time again. I mean, everything's going to be perfect in America. And I just feel like these guys are in for a dose of reality. And here we are at Hard Lens. We eat reality for breakfast, and that's why we're always so glum. We're like, we sort of understand what's going on here. We get it. We sort of predict this stuff because it's sort of obvious, and then everyone ignores us, and then everyone gets mad at us when we point out after they realize that we were right on the issue about a year ago, and like, shut up, you're not Joe Biden. Oh, I would only listen to that if Joe Biden told me that. So, yeah.
I think as a final note to the story is, look, don't hero worship. And I'm not expecting much from the Biden administration, but I do want them to succeed. And look, if there is talk about holding their feet to the fire and pushing back, okay, great, let's do it. But I think the ink's already dry, and we've lost all leverage of power we could use against the Democrats. And now, you know, remember, Joe Manchin has gone on the record of saying that he's against the stimulus checks. And now the Democrats, Biden himself and all the other Democrats are saying, well, people are going to get a $1,400 stimulus check. So that was not the promise. It was $2,000. And don't use the damn excuse that $600 was the down payment, because that's not what was said.
By the way,
that's not what was promised.
You can't call Trump's money a down payment that Trump put in. This is the Trump money.
Yeah, and
Trump's the one that was president when this happened. You don't get to go, hey, I love that couch you're selling for $2,000. Let's do $2,000. But hey, here's $1,400 check. Wait, why is it $1,400? Well, the guy before you actually paid $600, so I'm just gonna mix those together and we'll call it $2,000.
And that's not how things work. A promise was made, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen next. But to the vote blue no matter who crew, to the people who are saying we got to vote Democrat to stop Trump. Now's the time for you to fight back, but what's your plan? I'm curious to see it, and I hope we get continuous stimulus checks. I hope we do have it, but as Kira has said on the show, hope in one hand, crap in the other, and see which one fills up faster.
And I want to make this point again, because I feel like I need more people on Twitter and other places to make the same point about the Biden $2,000, $1,400 check. If your point is that the previous money adds up to $2,000 and he fills in the remainder, it's not a $1,400 check. By that logic, you're talking about a $200 check, because Trump gave us, let's say it together, $1,200 if you got it in the summer, $600, which, by the way, Biden's the one that negotiated that down from $1,200, so he's actually pulled $600 out of it in the first place.
Biden and the Democrats.
But hey, we should be lucky. If he hadn't done that, he would have only been giving us what would that be? A negative $200 check right now for the difference. So I just want to make that point very clear, that if people, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either we're going with previous president stimulus numbers and we're adding it all together, which means that we get a $200 check. Or we only count stuff that Biden put together, which means we get a $2,000 check. You don't get to make up math and go, no, math isn't a real thing. Accounting's not real either. $1,400, because that $12,000 check is $1,400. Mm-hmm. And Ayana, who mentioned she was an accountant earlier in the chat, and she's like, those two numbers don't add up. Well, Ayana, you're not in politics, so they do.
All right. With that being,
it would go hand in hand with the Biden administration taking credit for the vaccine coming into existence, right? You know, it matches. So I guess at least they're consistent.
Yep.
At least they're consistent.
All right. So let's go ahead and just end it with this. I do hope there is some success. We do see some changes, but I'm not holding out for hope. But let's go ahead and move on now to our next segment.
I would love to be wrong.
Yeah, we all do.